Hello everybody, this is Carlo again here at Forge Glory Custom Leathercraft. While this one is drying, I'm going to start on this second one. These both were ordered by the same person. One for himself, one for his father. So I'm going to go ahead and case my leather. Casing leather is just a fancy word for making it wet. The wetness allows me to draw on it and for the art to stay on it. So this is the one that the patron was having me make for him specifically. The other one was for his father, and the patron was a Cavalry Scout in the Army. For $100, who else was a Cavalry Scout in the Army? Well, me. I get the $100. I was a Cavalry Scout in the Army for 10 years. 2004 to 2014, but for being honest, I mean, technically, my job was a Cavalry Scout, but I got the old thyroid cancer and a whole lot of injuries. A lot of injuries. So I was kind of sidelined and they put me in human resources doing things for the commanders and whatnot. Until my time in the Army was done. I absolutely loved my time in the Army. I was one of those weirdos who thought the Army was fun and very fulfilling. There was a whole lot of, as we say in the Army, embracing the suck. Like, your day's going to suck today, but you're just going to embrace it and love it. You know, there's always bad days and good days, but overall, it was a very fulfilling job that I had in the Army. I loved it. And when it got to the point to where I couldn't do the job anymore, I was very upset. Tried to get them to kick me out of the Army, but they couldn't due to some loopholes in the medical crap. So I had to stay until my contract was up. I could not get med-boarded. So I stayed for, till it was up, got out. And I felt bad because, I'm wasting the Army's money. I couldn't do the job they trained me to do. They had me doing human resources when they spent all this money to train me to do something else, but I found out I was really good at human resources. I mean, it's just shuffling papers. Not to disparage those who are in human resources, but I found out I was actually pretty good at it. Yeah, keeping trackers and tracking the trackers and all that good stuff. I had a good time. Not what I wanted to do, but it's what I could do. I worked hard till my last day, and then when my last days came up and I was out processing, I was like, nope, I am not doing anything else. I am out processing. They're like, you got to come back over here and do this. Nope, I am out processing. Like, when you guys are out processing, you'll do the same. But I definitely had a good time. But yeah, I was a Cavalry Scout. No, we didn't have horses. We had Humvees. Some were on Strikers and on Bradleys. I was always in light units that had Humvees. Until I went to the division headquarters at the 101st Airborne Division. Then we had desk. We didn't have vehicles, we had desk. It was a great time. As you see, this is art. I'm not expecting to do a whole lot more of this art in this size, so I'm just using regular paper. I didn't laminate it to keep it again. the only other cavalry art I've done in the past was actually for myself. So I can safely say I am probably not going to use this again. I had made myself a wallet with the cross sabers, the skull, and the Stetson. And I was very sad when I had to get rid of that wallet after only 5 years. I dropped it in a toilet. I was like, well, I am not going to use that anymore. So I made myself another wallet. And that's the elephant wallet that I carry now. But if you don't drop your wallets in the toilet, my wallet will last you, I would say, a good 10 years. And then you'll have to send it back to me to do some repairs, and you'll have another 10 years out of that. And remember, with all the products that I make, if you order from me, you get a lifetime warranty as long as I'm still doing leather work. If something breaks on it, if something happens, if you just need to re-dye it because you left it out in the sun too much, anything, you can always send it back to me. You pay the shipping to me, and you pay the shipping for me to send it back. And I will do any and all repairs for free. And I know to a lot of you that seems like a very generous offer, but to be honest, my stuff lasts forever. So I'm very confident in saying that I don't have to do a lot of repairs. That's the nice thing about making good quality is, I could throw up a really good, crazy guarantee because I know I'm not going to see a lot of them back. They're going to last for a very long time. But just in case, you're paying, you guys are paying good money for it. I'm not cheap. So I want to have some kind of coverage for you. Just in case. So if you're on your motorcycle and you drop your motorcycle and, the leather gets scuffed up, send it back to me. I can re-dye it. I could probably buff it out. We can do something. Daniel Miller, there were 35 at one point watching. Yeah. Not sure how many people are watching right now, but yep, I got a lot up on there. There we go. Cavalry Scout cross sabers. Matthew, getting the customer to draw the template is a good idea. Awesome. I'm not sure if you guys can hear my cat in the background. My shop is here on my property, so you might hear my wife, my kids, my cat, my dog. Here we go. All right. Yeah, whatever piece of art I do, if I'm drawing it, so I draw it, that's one time I've had to do the art. And then when I apply it to the leather, that's the second time. And then when I cut it, that's the third time. And then when I bevel it, that's the fourth time I do it. And then when I dye it, that's the fifth time I do the art. So every piece of art that gets put on leather is done 5 times before the finished product. And that's why I charge $30 per piece of art, because I got to do a lot with it. And it also depends on the size of the art that you want. I mean, if you're wanting to do a sign that's 3 feet by 2 feet, yeah, I'm going to charge a lot more for the art than just $30. I'll charge for every square. Come up with a fair price for the time that it's going to take me to draw it up, put it on there, and do everything. So I get paid for my time. I don't do things for free, and I don't do things at cost. If I do things at cost, then I'd have to shut down and lose money and lose everything. And we don't want that. You don't want to price gouge, but you also want to stay in business. There's nothing wrong with profit. All right. So I'm going to ask everybody. I got a lot of viewers on right now. As a lot of you know, I was recently in a motorcycle accident. I am probably the world's worst mechanic. But I have my bike in the shop right now. And they're working up the estimate, and they'll be working with my insurance company to get an estimate. And I have friends who say, well, what you do is you pay the shop a fee for the estimate, and then you go buy all the parts yourself, and then you put it on. And I'm like, you know what? I'm a horrible mechanic. I'm a great leather craftsman, but I'm a horrible mechanic. I don't want to be putting these parts on by myself. And they're like, oh, but you can look up the videos on YouTube. And I'm like, well, what if that dude did it wrong? Like, what if the guy on YouTube did it wrong? And, a year later, he does another YouTube video saying, hey, I did this wrong, and so I screwed up my bike. But, I'm not going to go through his, videos for over the lifetime that he has his bike to find out if he did it right, if he screwed it up. Or if he screwed it up, he might not even make a video, just take it to a mechanic to do it. So I don't know, that kind of scares me a little bit to do it myself. So what would you guys do? Would you do the repairs yourself? Get the estimate, pay for the fee to have the estimate done, buy the parts and do it yourself, or would you let the professionals do it? And I know, I've been made fun of a lot for not being a great mechanic, but I don't care. There's great mechanics out there, and when people say, oh, you can't rent your bike, and I'm like, well, you can't make a saddlebag, you can't make a tool bag, you can't make the parts for your bike yourself. You got to use somebody else's work to do it. That usually quiets them down. I'm like, okay, well, this guy, he can make his own parts, the leather parts. All right. Almost done with the carving. And we'll head over to the beveling. All right. Now for the beveler. I didn't wet this leather down a lot, so I'm going to wet it down again. Come on. So that way the bevel will really stick in there. James Colvin, how much for a heat shield for a 14 Indian chieftain? There are 250 for one with the pouch, and with art on both the pouch and the other side. And you can take a look at my website, look for the heat shields for cruisers. Cruisers, baggers, and touring bikes. That'll be the one that you need to look for. And they'll have all the different options and the different prices. You know, if you want stitching along the edge, the stitching does cost extra. So it all depends on what you want. But yeah, take a look at the website and that'll give you all the pricing options there. So I think this is going to be the first year that my family has a cat and a Christmas tree. I think the cat's already been... My kids are putting up the Christmas tree right now. And I think the cat's been trying to get into it, so they locked her in the dog's cage. So we'll see how long this Christmas tree will last with a cat. All right. Now, a lot of leather crafters, they'll use a weight and say, so if I'm doing this, they'll put a weight on it so that the leather piece doesn't move around. But with me and the way I do it, I like moving the leather piece around. Easier to get all the angles, because if I have a weight on it here, then I'm stuck doing all these angles, and then when I'm doing, like say the inside of this, and my hand is here, and I have the mallet, I can't see exactly where I'm going, and so I like to move it so that I can always have eye contact. That's a pro tip of what I like to do. Some people don't like that, but I do. I think it works a lot better. Keeps my line of sight, and I'm not guessing where the beveled edge is going to go. No mystery. There we go. The nice thing about having my shop here on my property is that when COVID hit, Leatherwork is not on the essential workers list, but it's in my house, and I'm the only employee, well, except for my daughter. But we live together, so I don't have to social distance from my daughter or my family, so I was able to continue working. And since I'm at home all the time, I had no threat, or very little threat, of getting COVID, so one of the benefits of working out of your home, or working on your own property here. I was very, very fortunate. I mean, the job I had before working for Pepsi was considered essential, and so all my buddies in Pepsi, they were able to keep working. And since restaurants were closed down, and I'm sure all of you know, everybody was buying more cans, and there was a can shortage. Not because we were running out of aluminum, it's just, for the increase in sales, because people weren't going to McDonald's to eat or any other restaurant to eat. That increase in sales of people buying the soda to drink at home, the industry couldn't keep up. It was just too much, and so they ran out of cans, or they ran very low on cans. But I think they've caught up now, so talking to my friends who still work for Pepsi, great company to work for if you're looking for a job. Great benefits, but my disabilities were too much, so I had to stop and just do the leather work. All right, so there we go. As the tank bib for a Cavalry Scout in the Army for his motorcycle. Now I just have to wait for that to dry before I add the dye. And then I'm going to dye it. And then I'm going to put a kangaroo lace edge on the edge. Thanks for watching, everybody. Remember, here at Forge Galore, we're all about the leather, your design, and my shop coming together to make some great products. Have a good one.